So we're gonna go over to France 24. That we heard he was, when he was harassing that DoorDash lady we were just watching. Um, the press, they were all up on Trump, being like, "Why on earth did you post this AI photo of yourself as Jesus?" And so like we're gonna see what all was happening there, and hopefully they'll show the actual image. I think it looks like they do, so we'll get to see and react to the image as well, because I think I've kind of seen glimpses of it online, but I was trying to hold off until I could come here and see it. So
Truth or Fake gives us Vedica held by the big board. We're picking up again with Pope Leo, who's had basically that visit to Algeria, which is a papal first, and more African countries on the agenda. But he's also in the news after Donald Trump launched an extraordinary attack on the Pope. His words said on Sunday, the words of the US president. But he also went as far as to share an AI-generated image. This is Trump depicting himself, Donald Trump, as Jesus Christ. Vedica, talk us through it.
That's right, Mark. Well, there's nothing to debunk today on Truth or Fake, because this is in fact true. The US president went on a late night rant on his platform, Truth Social, late on...
No, I mean, that's definitely white Jesus. I grew up in the Midwest, man. I know white Jesus when I see white Jesus. And this is definitely him as white Jesus. Also, he said he's a doctor. I don't know how many people like pray to their doctors. I would assume that usually you would want to be praying to Jesus.
Sunday as he returned.
Yeah, I think that this is pretty blatantly. I don't agree with his assessment that he was just being a doctor in this. If a doctor, okay, here's my assessment. If a doctor comes up to you and does this, and is holding like a ball of like pure light, and he comes up and he, like, one hand's holding a ball of pure light, and he goes up and he touches your forehead and you start glowing like this guy is down here. Like, I think that you should be like, oh, we're not in the realm of science anymore. We're in the realm of mysticism and religion, I think. So just letting you know, don't let your doctors do this. Okay. I don't think that that's not a normal thing. Okay.
From Florida to Washington. And in a lengthy post around 3 a.m., he blasted Pope Leo before sharing an AI-generated image depicting himself as Jesus Christ. Now, this image has since been deleted from the platform in the last few hours. But let's go through first what Donald Trump said about the Pope. Now, he started by saying Pope Leo is weak on crime and terrible for foreign policy. He says he likes his brother Louis.
Can you imagine saying the fucking Pope is weak on crime? Like, do you even know what the purpose of religion is? Like, religion isn't a government, right? It's not a governing body. Their job isn't to reduce crime. They're really, if you want to say like their job is to alleviate the suffering of others or whatever, like, is like the primary goal or whatever you could say of the church, is, if you're going to talk about like that sort of stuff, is to reduce the suffering of others. At least in its purest and goodest form, that is what it is supposed to do. Yeah, they're not governments. Okay, so that's a silly thing to say. That's funny.
Louis much better, because he is all MAGA. He said, I don't want a pope who thinks it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. He also said, I don't want a pope who criticizes me as the president of the United States. Now, he also went on to say that the pontiff should be thankful because it was a surprise, allegedly, to Donald Trump that he was elected, that he was voted in to be the pope, and that he was only put there by the church because he was an American. If I wasn't in the White House, Leo wouldn't be in the Vatican. Now, he ended this post by saying...
Wow. And he's taking credit. He's taking credit for our boy, our Chicago Pope, the best Pope, or what did Chicago, the Cars, I don't know, what else?
Pope Leo should
the
get
White
his
Sox,
act together
White
because
Sox Pope.
it's hurting the Catholic Church. So quite scathing words there from Donald Trump. And some 40 minutes later, after that...
Yeah, he's like, bring back the last guy, right? What was the last guy? What was he all about? I guess he was like pro-trans, was that right? I can't remember. I can't keep up with all the popes, man.
Lengthy post, he shared this AI-generated image depicting himself as Jesus Christ healing the sick. We can see Trump bathed in light, wearing a white robe as he heals an ill man with his hands. There's the US flag in the background as bald eagles fly as well in the skies, and it does evoke a certain sense of religious Christian imagery.
Yeah, well, this is the most American Christian thing that I've seen. And American Christian, like I always say, it's another strain of Christianity. It is different than all of the other strains. It is a like, I don't know, like this sort of imagery of like blending the state with Jesus and religion. Like most people should, like most Christians should see that as just complete and total blasphemy, right? Like that is like one of the most like obviously blasphemous things you can do, is to compare yourself to Jesus, but also to blend like your religion into the national, you know, white nativist policies of the government or whatever, right? Like that should be just like very obvious that it's blasphemous to the average person, but not in America, baby. In America, this is completely normal. This is very, very normal. Like even before the era of like, you know, Facebook AI, like slop that just our boomer, like TV-addled brain boomers are sitting on their iPads like iPad babies and just like scrolling endlessly through the fucking slop and getting this shit like, I don't know, pumped right into their veins. Even before that though, like modern American churches, like their depictions of Jesus is usually very much like a, you know, Chad white guy, like corn-fed, usually pretty jacked, like 10% body fat, like, you know, like all of that sort of stuff, like I think like, yeah, American Christianity is just a completely other animal, and we're kind of, the fact that this, like anyone could even get behind this is like a testament to that fact.
Now, this photo triggered massive and swift and sharp backlash from Christian and Catholic conservatives. And news just in, this has just happened in the last couple of hours in a hastily arranged press conference outside the White House today. Trump.
I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them, American Christians, being like, this is a step too far. I'm proud of them. Good for them.
Said he thought that this AI image was of him as a doctor making people better. He blamed fake news for people comparing it to Jesus Christ.
Well, that guys, come on. That's just the dementia talk. That's just the dementia. Like he thought it was a doctor, okay? You know, he also thinks like the sky is red and pancakes taste like chicken, you know?
And he said that he refuses to apologize, Mark, to Pope Leo.
Don't criticize him too much, okay?
On Truth Social.
Pope Leo, of course, leader of the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. Even the likes of Giorgia Meloni, Prime Minister of Italy, have spoken out to condemn what Donald Trump has said. What has Pope Leo said, Vedika?
Well, speaking to reporters on his flight to Algeria, when he was asked directly about this online attack by Donald Trump, he actually responded with, "It's ironic, the name of the site itself, Say No More." So he is referring there to Trump's platform, Truth Social. But he also said that he's not afraid of the Trump administration. So I think it's best we take a listen to exactly what he said now.
Let's hear him.
I have no fear of neither the Trump administration nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel.
Dude, he's so Chicago, man. This is awesome. I love that we have I love that we have a pope like this, man.
I think it's best we take a listen to exactly what he said now.
I have no fear of neither the Trump.
I have no fear of either the Trump administration nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel. Like, you know, it's like crazy to hear a pope just like talk like that, man. I'm so used to them being like old Roman dudes or like old, you know, Italian dudes or whatever. Like,
Administration
crazy.
Nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel. I don't want to get into a debate with him. I don't think that the message of the gospel is meant to be abused in the way that some people are doing. And I will continue to speak out loudly against war, looking to promote peace.
Now, the pontiff is also one of the most powerful critics of the US war in Iran. In recent days, without naming Donald Trump, he suggested that a delusion of omnipotence was driving the conflict in the Middle East and US foreign policy. Now, he also said directly about Donald Trump's threat to Iran, where he threatened to wipe out an entire civilization. He also called that truly unacceptable. So he definitely hasn't minced his words in terms of speaking about the war in Iran.
Delusion of omnipotence. It seems to be summed up by that AI image of Trump depicting himself as Jesus Christ, which I think more than Catholics, but many people would regard that as blasphemous. You said that Trump deleted that post due to the backlash from his own Christian supporters. Tell us more about that.
That's right. Just a few hours ago, he deleted the AI-generated photo from his platform, but not before he faced the wrath of some of his most loyal and devoted Christian supporters who have normally stood behind him. For example, Fox News' Riley Gaines, who was recently a guest at the White House. She said she couldn't understand why he would post this, and God shall not be mocked. Similarly, David Brody, evangelical journalist from Christian Broadcasting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why you people are surprised. Honestly, this is the most Trump shit that I've ever seen. You understand, I want you people out there who are complaining about this image. I want you to know that in his head, Donald Trump thinks literally that this is who he is. Donald Trump is not some benevolent, humble Christian. Okay. He is one of the most, arrogant, self-involved people who has ever existed, narcissistic people that has ever existed. So this should come as no surprise to you. The only way this comes as a surprise to you is if you actually believed that Donald Trump was a Christian, which I mean just means you're an idiot. If you think that, he is not a Christian, dude. You don't have to, I don't know, you don't have to look that hard to understand that.